Wakey, 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 wakey. Hey, I hope you had a good rest. We're gonna get more Pink Floyd Yappin from me, Echo. So, last time we left off, it was, well, we were just about to get into the post-Sid era, but before the band really made any headway to where they are now, we make it to that today. While you still have enough energy to listen to me yap some more. So, let's get back into it. Alright, I'll give you a little space. So, let's see here. Well, there was... Right, so, we're gonna... Yeah, sorry, I just had to remember. So, the next Pink Floyd albums, the post-Sid era. So, after Sid had left the group, might have been forcibly, made forcibly to leave. Well, Pink Floyd was offered was asked if they could make a soundtrack for a movie. And they took that. They took the offer. Said, yeah, let's do it. And well, that movie was called More. And in that movie, I haven't really watched it, so it's something I got to get on. But they could still be kind of considered its own album, apart from the movie, with the songs that were in it still sounded sounded like Pink Floyd. And you could go without knowing they had a movie and still think, yeah, this is something they could put out. There are some tracks in there that are kind of, it's only a few that are, well, honestly, now that I think about it, it wouldn't really give away the fact it was a movie soundtrack. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, about what I know about the album. So, the album, which is also called More, is has some good songs. There's the Nile Song, the Nile Song, the Nile Song, which is a song about, I guess, more love. These guys really love their love songs. But it's about a guy who saw a girl standing by the Nile, because they are in Egypt. I believe that's where the Nile River is. I don't really know my world geography, so that's why I yap about Pink Floyd. But They were, yeah. So this guy, he sees her standing by the Nile, and he sees her smile. Um, kind of forget the lyrics, but the gist of it is this guy, yeah, he falls in love with a girl he sees by the Nile. And I think he asks her to stay for a while. For a while. It's honestly, this song is a lot different than the normal Pink Floyd sound. Their first real kind of, I don't know how I would describe the genre it sounds like, but more of an upbeat rock, less of what they normally do. Um, but yeah, full of pretty good guitar riffs, some good little drum solos here and there, little but yeah, good song overall, even if it doesn't really sound like the normal Pink Floyd sound. And then there's let's see, there's Sirius Minor, which that really feels like something they would make back in the Sid era of music. Um, Now, I don't really know my astronomy, so I don't really know what Cirrus Minor is, but it's a very mellow song. Maybe traveling through space, um, given the lyrics. Shoot. Of course, I can't remember. Of course. But the few that I do remember are Million Miles of Moonlight Later. Um, but yeah, no, you'd have to give it a listen to, I guess, see where I'm coming from. But it starts off beautifully. It starts off with the sounds of birds chirping, kind of a slow guitar, like an acoustic guitar, where it's kind of like, yeah. It's, and one note being played on a string going like bum, 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 bum. And then it starts to shift into the lyrics, and it's talking about a churchyard by a river. Yeah, honestly, I have no clue what this song is about. It's a really good one. And then it ends with what I'd imagine is maybe an organ, or maybe some kind of piano, but they're just pressing down, keeping a long note, pressing down on the keys, keeping a long note. And then some kind of, I want to call it like an ethereal sound starts playing, and the song ends with more birds chirping, kind of peaceful but maybe sorrowful feeling. But yeah, so that's Cirrus Minor. There is Cymbeline. It's high time for Cymbeline. But this one is kind of talking about um, being sold out, I guess, or I guess kind of selling out, because as the band, this might have they might have been singing about what was going on currently, or it might be something in the movie that I have not watched. But some lyrics to, I guess, solidify this feeling is your manager and agent are both busy on the phone selling colored photographs to magazines back home. So it might be like they're on tour. Photographs are being taken of the band on stage. And, well, they're, they're becoming famous, but they don't really want to be seen in this light. They want people to see them in person, not just photos of them. And yeah, that's what I think, at least. And then there is, let's see here. Well, there's a little goofy lyric in that one too, about Doctor Strange always changing size. A little random, but could also be relevant to. I'll jump back a little to Saucerful here, but they did a little collage for the album cover, but there are some planets you can see that are, I guess, from a Doctor Strange comic book cover. But yeah, little Sid era tidbit there. But yeah, that's that. Let's see. There was a song in the movie I've heard about, at least, that was called Seabirds. Seabirds. And apparently that was a really good song, but something happened to it during the release to the album, and the file got lost, and so they replaced it with Quicksilver, which I suppose could be the Pink Floyd sound, indeed, but always one I skip. But yeah, and then what else do they have? Let's see. There's the crying song. We cry. Ooh, I'm not a good singer, but the lyrics are: we cry, yada yada. There's other lyrics to it, but geez, that really shows me just how little I know to this album. But yeah, that's all I'll do on this one. The next one, so that album was 1969, so a year after Sid had departed the band. And, well, year later, they had released uh, this one has a silly name, Ummagumma. Ummagumma. And that one was kind of a compilation of music. Um, like every band member had their own led song on that one, one they wanted to create, or one where they were the main focus. I honestly haven't listened to that one. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. One song I do know off of it is several species of small furry animals grooving with a pict in a cave, or grooving in a cave with a pict. One of those two. And just as the name kind of suggests, it's a bunch of animal sounds. They're just vibing, going crazy, really feeling the music, I suppose. But yeah, so the album cover is pretty cool though, because it's the 4 people who are left in the band. So it is now not Sid. Was about to say that, but it is now Roger, David, Rick, and Nick. And yeah, Sid's out the picture. But they're all kind of in their own places. However, there's a little picture on the wall, and it's another picture of the album cover, but everybody's in a different spot now, and it kind of keeps on going like that until you can't really see it. I think you can see it like one more time. But yeah, and so I just thought that was pretty neat. But I don't have much else to say on that album, unfortunately. And then the next album is, I believe, released in 1971, or wait, no. Yes, 1971 is Meddle, with possibly one of their greatest songs on it, called Echoes. And now, that does sound a little familiar. Yeah. I won't dwell on it, but that album is another good one. It comes with Echoes, obviously. It's a whole 23 minutes, and that one is, well, my favorite. It contains, originally it was going to be called Nothing Parts 1 through 14, but they decided to go with another name, Echoes. But yeah, so basically starts off with a little kind of ping, a high note on a piano being played, and it repeats that a few times and into before the lyrics come up, and then so repeats that a few times, and then a few more notes come up, So goes. Let's see. Yeah, so it goes like bum, 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 bum. Something kind of like that. And, I'm sorry if that's not the best, I guess, imitation of it. But yeah, and then the guitar starts to come in, a single strum to start, and then it starts to, the guitar goes into more depth. And then, well, let's see here. All the sound starts to come together. The drums start to kick in. So, starting off as real mellow, and then it builds up to a kind of exciting, but maybe a little sad sounding, real intro to the song. I'd just say listen to it. But, starts off with overhead the albatross hangs motionless upon the air. And deep beneath the rolling waves, in labyrinths of coral caves, I think that's how it goes. But yeah, and so it's I'm not sure if there is a meaning to the song or if the band was just really in feeling the vibe of it. But the lyrics continue for good. It's probably 30 seconds. There's a small interlude, and then, well, let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember as best as I can. Yeah, so I think they keep going, and then the lyrics stop. It turns into an instrumental for a little bit, and then it starts to devolve into some weird noise. Some people call it whale noises, which I can see it, but I kind of like to imagine that it's maybe, and this might sound a little goofy, a little crazy, but maybe some kind of contact trying to be made from extraterrestrial life forms way out in space. Yeah, I know, a little silly. But yeah, and so it goes on for a few minutes. And then you get back into the music, but this time it's really starting to build up to something. Like the guitars are really going. The drummer, Nick, he's playing his heart out. And then there's this like epic riff that I think maybe it could be, it's probably David Gilmour, because he was the main guitarist there. But yeah, and so it's like kind of maybe something you'd hear after or during a very tense battle, but the hero seems to have the upper hand. And then it starts to, and then the lyrics kick back up, and they go, cloudless every day, you fall upon my waking eye, inviting and inciting me to rise. Through the window, in the wall, come streaming in on sunlight wings, a million bright ambassadors of morning. No one makes me close my eyes, no one sings me lullabies, so I throw the windows wide and call to you across the sky. And so, it's kind of I'm not sure quite what those lyrics could mean, but it does kind of help with my alien theory of, during that little interlude there. But a fun fact about this song Echoes is it's just speculation, not truly confirmed, but it's a possibility that, so it syncs up pretty darn well with the last 23 minutes of 2001 A Space Odyssey. And so it's kind of thought that the person who made 2001 A Space Odyssey came to Pink Floyd and he was like, hey, I want you to make a song or maybe a soundtrack for this movie. Can't quite remember what the people are saying, but Pink Floyd turned them down after having just made, well, this would have been before more, but yeah, and so they realized their mistake afterwards, and they made the song Echoes to possibly go along with, the last 23 minutes of 2001 A Space Odyssey. But it's not truly confirmed. Could be, it is mostly just a theory. But that is another reason why it's my favorite song, because it really just grew so much more on me after watching the movie and then syncing up the last 23 minutes of the movie with Echoes. Yeah, but enough on that. Some other songs in Meddle are One of These Days. One of These Days. And that one is more so just an instrumental. It's kind of something that gets me hyped up. But it, well, yeah, just pretty cool music to get hyped to. But in the middle of the song, there's a knocking sound, like a boom, 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 boom. And then the lyrics, one of these days, I'm gonna cut you into little pieces. And then the band really starts going. They go all out. And so it keeps on going for a little bit, and then it kind of dies down and fades out. But definitely another good song. What else did they have? There's Fearless, that one is kind of, I'm not quite sure. Maybe a message to, be fearless. Do what you want to do. Don't care about criticism. Now, given the lyrics, it is in the back half of the song, but fearlessly, the idiot faces the crowd, smiling, and mercilessly, the magistrate turns around, frowning. Who's the fool who wears the crown? And I'll look down in my own way, rising above the tree line. I think it's the tree line. The lyrics aren't super clear. The tree line of the clouds. I look down, hearing the sounds of the things you said yesterday. And I'm pretty sure I got the last few words wrong. But yeah, I like to imagine it's like, be fearless, do what you want to do, and don't let anybody stop you. I mean, unless it's very illegal, then do not do that. But yeah, and then the song ends with a whole crowd cheering. Maybe for the guy who was on stage, who was, playing for the crowd. But who knows? Not me. Let's see, and then there's a couple more songs on there. There is Saint-Tropez, which is kind of just talking about chilling in the sovereign Saint-Tropez, seeing what goes on around the town, in the eyes of the character in this song. So it's, just a very chill song, especially the lyrics. I reach for a peach, slide a rind down behind, in sovereign Saint-Tropez. Open a book, look at the way things stand. I don't know. I know I'm missing some. But yeah, those lyrics in general, it's kind of just a chill, like laid back song to listen to. And then it's got a little nice, maybe ukulele, like it gives off island vibes. That's what I'll say. Gives off island vibes. And then there is Seamus. That's the dog. That one isn't my favorite. Mostly because, well, there's a dog kind of just trying to sing along, in quotes, to the song. But yeah, it's just a guy chilling, singing about him and his dog. And so they're happy. And yeah. And then I think that is the end of Meddle. Also, the cover being an ear, which makes sense for echoes because, sound bounces around in your ear. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. Um, I just really like how they chose the colors, I guess, because it's like a nice blue and then kind of a maroon, and then there's a little ripple, which I think I did forget the ear is underwater. But yeah, so pretty simple album cover, but pretty good looking at the same time. And then next we'll move on to Obscured by Clouds. Obscured by Clouds. Obscured by Clouds. And that one was another soundtrack for a movie. And so with this one, the movie was called La Valle. La Valle. La Valle. It's French, so I'm not sure how they pronounce their L's. But with this one, follows the story of a lady doing research in a kind of rainforest type area. And I think she might be doing research on the area or research about the native people in the area. But yeah, this could also just be considered a Pink Floyd album. Like, you could have no clue it's for a movie. Some of my favorite songs off of it are, let's see, What's the Deal? Which you may be thinking right now, considering I'm still yapping to you. But yeah, it's kind of, I think that one's talking about a friendship that was lost, but then was found again. With the lyrics, it is in the last half of the song. They're kind of reversed from the first half. So the first half is I'm the man, or I'm on the outside looking in. And then in the last half, it's now I'm the man on the inside looking out. Hear me shout, come on in. What's the news? Where have you been? And so, yeah, it's kind of like, it's been a while since they've seen each other. Also, considering the lyrics, let's see. There's no wind left in my soul, and I've grown old. So, kind of right on the nose there. But yeah, that's what the song kind of reminds me of, like an old friendship that was renewed. And then, yeah, that's all about what's the deal. Let's see, there's the gold, it's in the, and then ... So it doesn't tell you where the gold is. But this song is kind of, I think, talking about joining some friends for a little adventure. You know, the lyrics starting off with, come on my friends, let's make for the hills. Something, something, but I'm looking for thrills. We'll get our hands on whatever we find. Only come along for the ride. And so And then there's the lyrics, you go your way, I go mine. I don't care if we get there on time. But yeah, so maybe it's a song about somebody who just really enjoys his friends and hanging out with them. He doesn't care about the journey. Maybe the gold is the friends. The gold, it's in the friends. But yeah, the song, the title can really be left up to speculation. That's what I like to personally think. The gold, it's in the friends. But yeah, so my thoughts on that one. It is a pretty good one. It's a more upbeat song. Could kind of sound like, yeah, can't sound like the Nile song now that I think about it. But it gives off a similar feeling with the instruments and how they play. And then next up, what I can remember is Mudmen. 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 And that one is an instrumental. They love their instrumentals, but I can understand why. They do them really good. But that one is a nice, very chill, kind of out there song that's it's great for listening to while you're like out on a lake. It's great for enjoying the scenery of nature, looking at the mountains or chilling in a park, just looking at the trees. Stuff like that, you know. So it's always one I put on whenever I'm paddleboarding. And then there's Burning Bridges, which uses the same song, but maybe kind of like a reprise of Mudmen. As it sounds the same, but there are certain parts that are different. But that one, I guess this song is kind of self-explanatory of burning bridges with people. And I also can't really remember the lyrics. This might be a worse yap sesh than last time. But maybe the next one will be better. But yeah, so there's a good amount of songs in this one. There's also Stay, the song Stay, which is I think about kind of like a guy after a one night stand telling a girl to stay, or maybe they were in a relationship and things are getting rocky. But yeah, the main reason I think that is because of the lyrics. Stay to help me end the day, and if you don't mind, we'll break a bottle of wine. Stick around and we'll put one down. So it's kind of like this guy almost begging for this person to stay. And yeah, and then I think the person leaves, given the lyrics. I rise. No, she did stay. She did stay. So I rise, looking through my morning eyes to find you by my side. And so he's kind of happy that the person stayed, and however, he kind of realizes that it can't really go on like this. Maybe he did lose feeling. The reason I think that is because of the lyrics. I try to find the words to tell you goodbye. And then she leaves, and kind of kicks up into the lyrics. Midnight blues, newborn day. But yeah. And let's see. What is that one I'm thinking of? Well, shoot. Guess I'm drawing a blank here. Yeah, unfortunately. That's all I can remember from Obscured by Clouds for now. Besides Absolutely Curtains, which is kind of another Pink Floyd sounding song. I'm not quite sure what the instruments they use are in that one, but it's kind of a little weird feeling one, but also a little chill. And then some drums start to build up, and it rises into a chant of some native people. And yeah, they're kind of just singing the song out with their chant. So it's an interesting song. And yeah, still can't remember that song I was thinking of. At least what it's called. But it's kind of just talking about getting into the music industry, I guess. Maybe something like that. Mostly with the lyrics. Let's see. You might make it to the top with 8 years of luck or even less. But yeah, and so it's kind of just talking about like, you're making music, but will you find the right person to put it out? Or will you get lucky enough to have somebody sign you on? And yeah, that's all I really have for that one. Let's see. Let me just go check how we're doing on time. Looks like you fell asleep there. Well, that's okay. That was a pretty long yap session. I am sorry for keeping you awake. But yeah, that was kind of the in-between of, you're probably not hearing this, but in between post-Sid and pre-Dark Side of the Moon. But we may be able to get into that one next time.